Music, radio, podcasts.
Hi, my name's Eddie Hearn, and this is No Passion, No Point. Hello, welcome to a special episode of No Passion, No Point. Well, I was in San Diego, then I went to New York, then I went to Phoenix, now I'm back in London. This is all over about 5 or 6 days. Sometimes I don't really know where I am, but right now I'm at the top of the Leadenhall building looking out over London for the London leg of the Taylor Serrano press conference. Last week in New York, it was amazing, to see Taylor and Serrano's face at the New York Stock Exchange ringing the bell outside Madison Square Garden. And obviously when we went on sale, we hoped that we would do well in this huge arena, and we recorded the second biggest pre-sale of all time in boxing history at Madison Square Garden for this cracker on April 30th. So everything's coming together. My new promotional partner, Jake Paul, he's actually been really good to work with, actually. Not clowning around, taking things very seriously. Everybody moving in the right direction, and we've got an absolute monster fight on our hands here. Press conference is about to start, so I'll chat to you in a bit. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Leadenhall building here in the City of London. Incredible building here for an incredible fight. Of course, this is the biggest female fight of all time, but it's also one of the biggest fights in boxing. We have a number of guests up with us today. The undisputed world lightweight champion, Katie Taylor.
Yeah, this is a fight that I wanted from the get-go. Ever since I turned pro, I had my sights set on Serrano. I do genuinely believe that this is the best fight in boxing right now, the most exciting fight in the sport, and the fact that it's headlined in Madison Square Garden and the fact that the pre-sales were the second best in boxing history. This means that this fight is even more important than we actually realise. Not only are we breaking the ceiling in female purses, but we have actually changed perceptions in the sport, and if our careers have only achieved that, well, in all the hard days in the gym, it'll be absolutely worth it. I don't think anybody's ever asked the question, does Katie have what it takes? That question has been answered.
Amanda Serrano, the seven division world champion.
Yes, first of all, I want to thank London for having me. It's a beautiful city. You're making history, and that's what I want to do. I want to continue to open the doors for the new generation coming into the sport. I know I have all the tools to be Katie Taylor. I just have to go out there and be smart, and the victory will be mine. There's no questioning my heart, my skills, my power, my chin. I'm a Boricua. I have Latin blood, and I have all the heart in the world.
My co-promoter and friend, the great Jake Paul.
What these ladies are doing, I want to, give them a round of applause, because they're doing what most people in boxing aren't doing. The pound for pound two best going at it. This is what boxing needs more of, whether it's male or female. So they're putting it all on the line for this fight, which is what makes this so big. It makes sense why we're here, but it's kind of crazy that we're here at the same time. Yeah, get used to me. I'm gonna be here for a while. All I want to do is, bring more to this sport than I took from it, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Thanks, guys. Thank you to Katie, Jake, Amanda. Thank you all for coming today. It's been an incredible turnout here and in New York for this iconic fight. Thank you. Press conference went well, buzzing. Now I'm off to catch up with Jake Paul and Amanda Serrano. Ready? Ready when you want. Okay. BBC, No Passion, No Point. I'm delighted to be joined by my co-promoter, my partner, but also YouTube sensation, boxing superstar, Jake Paul, and the 7 division. Amanda, is it 7 or 8? Because I've seen some kind of mixed reviews.
It's 7.
7. Okay, the 7 division world champion, Amanda Serrano, ahead of Katie Taylor against Amanda Serrano for the undisputed world lightweight championship at MSG. Jake, they said it wasn't possible. I feel like the industry sniggered us a little bit when we said we're going to Madison Square Garden, and they said, oh, what, the small theatre, right? And we're like, no, the big room. And last week, the second highest pre-sale of all time for boxing at Madison Square Garden.
Massive. It's historic. You couldn't have said it any better. People didn't believe that this was possible, and we're shoving it in their face and showing them that this is probably arguably one of the biggest fights of 2022 and biggest fights historically ever. So, I'm excited to be a part of it. Like you said, co-promoter. Happy to be here. Amanda Serrano, the GWOAT, the true GWOAT. It's hard to say. Say GWOAT 10 times fast. But, yeah, thank you so much.
Is that part of what you're all about, kind of being a disruptor? Like, I mean, I'm a little bit like that, but I feel like I used to be like the young promoter in the game, and now you're coming through, and I feel like I'm the older generation, but I always felt like that as well. People said it couldn't be possible. It's a real old regime in boxing.
Yeah.
It's like the old guard. I mean, you've seen Bob Arum's comments about women's boxing in general, but it's part of what you're doing just across promoting and boxing as well, kind of proving people wrong.
Yeah, 100%, and proving that, there's a new wave and a new generation of not only fighters, but I guess promoters now coming in and going to the highest level immediately. And I'm definitely a disruptor. I think that's like what my main talent is disrupting everything, shaking the tree. And I would say like boxing was like taxis, and I'm coming in like with the Uber app. I'm not stopping, and I'm trying to put all these taxis out of business and change the way that boxing's done.
The change of the times, passing the torch.
Exactly.
Amanda, you've definitely got the Lux version. You're Uber Lux. You might even be the Uber helicopter, to be honest with you, the chopper for this one. But amazing moment. I mean, for people that don't know our history back and forward over the years, trying to make this fight, you always felt like your value wasn't represented in this fight. Obviously now, with the growth of women's boxing, your allegiance with Jake as well, you're finally getting what you feel you deserve after all these years.
Definitely. It was a good thing that the fight didn't happen 2 years ago. I mean, we wouldn't have gotten the recognition or headlining, making history at the Garden, making the money that we're changing the sport of female boxing right now. We're making history, and it's not just me and Katie. We're making history for the sport of female boxing, and I'm truly excited to see where this goes. Like, we can just continue to break barriers and just continue to be the best. But I'm super glad that it's right now that Jake Paul is on my side, rooting for me and bigging us up and making this thing as big as it is.
Although, you and Katie are both trailblazers, she came out of the Olympics with a really big profile, like she was a huge name in this country. I feel like you kind of were grinding before that for a long time. Talk to us about how women's boxing has changed and what it was like for you back when you were starting. I mean, I'm sure you were fighting for peanuts at the time, if at all, just dying for opportunities in the sport.
Definitely. I mean, I'm still trying to grind. I mean, I've been 13 years as a professional. I never in a million years coming into being a professional thought I was going to be a world champion. It just wasn't like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to fight. I'm going to fight for money and stuff. But yeah, after becoming a multiple division world champion, I was still fighting for $1,500. $4,000 to defend my title, which is unheard of. And people, they always have something to say. They're always criticizing. But me and my team, we struggle. Like, seriously, we never had a silver spoon. And Katie Taylor was lucky enough to have you push her through, give her that platform to actually showcase women. And because of you and Katie, women were shown, and people were starting to recognize women. I've been in the game so long, and people didn't know who I was. But when Katie came in, people knew who Katie was. Everybody's, oh, have you heard about the Irish girl, the Irish girl? I'm like, God, I've only been doing this for like 5-6 years plus, and all you care is about the Irish girl? So, yeah, you definitely pushed us. And, yeah, I'm just so happy that I've always said if it wasn't for me, it was for the new generation. And I'm super blessed to be able to say that I'm getting to see a glimpse of it. And I'm just super excited for the future.
Let's talk about the fight quickly. There's a lot of respect between you both, but there's been a few back and forths over the years. Like, I've never seen Katie get angry or have animosity to anyone. I haven't seen that even behind the scenes. I should tell you I have, but I haven't. But I can still, like, you're both winners, and she's dying for this fight. She's wanted it for so long. And, there's smiles and there's respect, but deep down for both of you, this is everything, really, everything you've ever worked toward.
Of course. You know, this is a business. We're both professionals. We're both champions. And I respect Katie Taylor. I respect any woman that goes into that ring with me because it's not an easy sport. It's not easy to go in there and get ready to get your head knocked off. So I respect any of my opponents. But you know, this is a big fight. This is like all of nothing. You know, we've worked so hard. After every fight, it's always been the comparison. How about Katie? How about Katie and her? How about Amanda? How about Serrano? It's just at a point, it got annoying. So this is like, the time is now. Like, this is for all the marbles. This is for Undisputed. This is for pound for pound #1. And I believe I'm going to be victorious come April 30th.
Jake, you talk about, obviously, the promotion for this show and your own career. A lot of people always ask me what you like, and then, you know, I was joking earlier about I used the term plonker once because sometimes I see you calling people out, and I do look at you and I think...
A wanker.
Well, no.
A dosser.
That was a bit harsh. Plonker's much friendlier.
Bottle of water.
Plonker's a friendly one. It's like...
What does that mean?
It's like, plonker's like a mate, but can be a bit of a wally sometimes.
Like a...
Yeah, kind of. I don't know about if these words are going to make the cut, but we just bleep them out. But
they're bad enough words to bleep them out?
No. Plonker's friendly, but I've known you for a long... Listen, I promoted your first fight with you. I kind of feel like you have fallen in love with the sport. The one thing I do say to people about you is you respect the sport, you grind in the gym, and everyone's got a right to do what they do, to try and, you know, the fact is, some fighters say, well, he doesn't deserve this. You know, I've been in the gym for this long. And I said, yeah, but you haven't built the following that he's built. You know, you're not the draw that he is. But I do feel like you have genuinely fallen in love with the sport of boxing.
No, 100%. It's you know, become my whole entire life. And I'm excited to, you know, continue to not only fight, but to promote. And I'm passionate about it. And I love to be around it. And I'm watching it on Saturday nights and Friday nights. And whenever there's a fight, I'm there. So it's like... You know, it's part of who I am. I'm invigorated by this. And I was always an athletic competitor, and that's what really all I did growing up in Ohio. There was nothing else to do but to compete. So I'm really just going back to what I know the most and what I know the best. And like you said, I'm truly falling in love with it. And, you know, that's what, like, you hit the nail on the head. I was in the gym on YouTube every day, posting every single day, building my brand to 60 million followers every day. I vlogged for 2 years straight. I created a 15-minute piece of content for 2 years straight. You know, that was me in the gym. So people, you know, maybe I didn't do that in boxing, but I did it in another vertical. And people have to respect that I still was hustling since I was 17, 16 years old.
Is the aim to disrupt? Is it to get under people's skin? Like, you see, that's another reason I'll never fall out with you, because I don't want to become a meme or like just get abused. But I look at like your spats with Dana White or Conor McGregor and stuff like that. Like, is that out of dislike, or is it's just what you do? You know, you create content that you know will engage people, will upset people, will do numbers. Is there, or do you genuinely dislike these people?
It's a little bit of both, you know, but it definitely starts with a genuine dislike. I told my team, like, I'll never really attack somebody if it doesn't feel genuine. You know, if I don't actually like feel that type of way, or if they started it, I'll never really just like start something out of nowhere. All the people that I attack it's mostly in response. 90% of the time, it's mostly in response to something that they've said about me. So, but
that's also a mistake from them, isn't it?
Yeah, like just shut up.
No, but when Dana came out and done his video, he's like, I was like, no, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
He added fuel to the fire. But yeah, like, I'm not out there like trying to create any feuds. I feel like I already have enough feuds as it is right now, for sure. But I'm definitely a troll naturally.
But also,
like, I giggle when I'm posting this stuff. Like, I'm like, this is hilarious. Like, I love.
By
this.
the way, you also live in a world. I know you can look after yourself, but you do live in a world where these people will attack you on sight. You know, like, I mean, I don't know what happened with Floyd. Yeah, I don't know what happened with Floyd, but like, you're talking, you know, the way you talk about some people, like.
Yeah, they'll want to kill me for sure. Yeah, no problem.
That could do big numbers on YouTube.
Yeah, they're like, it is what it is, you know? I think if you're doing anything noble enough to make people care in a massive way, moving centuries and generations of influence, people are going to want to kill you. Look at all the greats, you know? That's what happened to them. So if people want to kill me, cool, but like it's gonna be a shootout. So they might die too, or whoever they're sending after me might die too. So it's whoever gets hit by the first bullet, really, because I got good aim.
Okay. We was doing a radio interview earlier, and they said, you talked about becoming a world champion, and they asked me, do I think you become a world champion? I honestly said no, because like it's hard. It's not. I could say that about a number of prospects that we've signed as well, but is that part of the hype, or you genuinely believe you can go on and become a world champion in this sport?
I genuinely believe that I can go on and become a world champion, for sure. No doubt in my mind. It's just comes down to, do I want to do it? Will I be at 9 fights or 10 fights in and be like, I don't know if I want to just step back and promote, or, I've done what I needed to do here. So it's really just going to be, okay, is this something that I really want to go and do? And if I set my mind to it, then I know I will be able to accomplish it for sure.
Question about social media and the world that we live in these days. Like, I know, Amanda, you look at yourself, I've seen you bite back quite a bit on social media, particularly Clarissa. Like, she's a nightmare on social media in that respect. Do you find it hard? And the same question to you, do you read the comments? Because you live in a world that is kind of like doesn't really exist, but people growing up these days, it is hard to live in this social media world when you're grinding so hard, you're chasing your dreams, and you have so much negativity towards you. Or are you just built from that world where really it just it literally bounces off you?
Yeah.
Firstly for you, Amanda, I think you found it difficult to deal with the criticism because of all the struggles you've had.
Yeah and no. That's why I stay off. That's why I don't have a cell phone. 33 years old.
That's the story. Yeah, we talk that you never had a cell phone.
Never had a cell phone, and that's the reason
quite nice,
why. It's
I was
also like
asking her about it the other night.
I sit here and everyone's fighting for the Wi-Fi password, and I'm just looking like, wow, savages. But it keeps my mind off of just all the negativity, and it keeps my mind on the goals that I have in mind. Like right now, this is Katie Taylor's my goal, becoming undisputed champion. That's my goal. So if I continue looking at social media or read into or feed into the negativity, I will never accomplish my goal. So I just don't read it. I just go by it.
Question to you for the younger generation. How do you feel about the way that social media is sort of so infectious in the younger generation? Do you think it's dangerous? I mean, you kind of created it, so you got to have a little bit of responsibility for it.
Yeah, I mean, not really. Like Mark Zuckerberg and them are the ones responsible, but it's definitely bad. It's a weird generation to grow up in, and it's only getting worse. People's attention span are going down, and 3 to 4 year olds, the first thing they're doing is going on their iPads and getting addicted to it and addicted to the games that they're playing. It's a scary time to be alive, honestly. And I think what you said earlier was these comments are real. Like, even though it's digital, the comments are real. So there's like a bullying aspect of it too that's a problem. And I've learned to deal with it over the years of getting criticized. But at first, the comments really affected me when I was 17 years old. I was just moving from Ohio. I cared what people thought. I wasn't that confident. And it honestly just turned me into to the point where I just became numb to it. Because if I care about any of this, then my life is going to be ruined. So I got to that place. My message to other people is it's hard to get to that place, but that's why partially my foundation, Boxing Bullies, has to do with cyberbullying, because I get it. And it's, I'm trying to raise awareness about it, and boxing helped me find confidence, but it's definitely a weird time to be alive.
And finally, we talk about this great fight. I want to talk about the fight itself, because obviously I'm Team Taylor over here. Amanda Taylor.
Are you really?
Of course I am. You guys Team Serrano. But Amanda, firstly yourself, fully confident of this fight. How do you see this fight playing out? I mean, people talk about it's such a great mix of styles. She's a great technical boxer as well. You've got great power. You're also a great technical boxer. You like to walk people down. She likes to sometimes stand and fight on the inside and move. It's a great clash of styles, but you got full confidence that you become undisputed champion on April 30th.
Yes, I do. I have a great team that we're just focusing on Katie Taylor. People, like, I had fights prior to this fight, and are you training for Katie Taylor? Are you thinking about Katie Taylor? No. Now I'm thinking about Katie Taylor. Now I'm thinking about defeating her, giving her first loss on her record. And I have all the tools in the shed to beat Katie Taylor. It's just me going out there and performing and listening to my team and make sure that I secure that victory. But I'm stronger, I'm younger, I'm hungry, never been undisputed champion, and that was one of my goals. And yeah, come the 30th, we're going to see that. You're going to see I'm a brawler, I'm a boxer, I can cut off the ring, I can do whatever Katie puts in front of me, and you're going to see that.
And finally, Jay, we'll have probably a friendly bet closer to the time, but you're fully confident of your charge, your champion, and it's going to be a great night.
Yeah, 100%. I'm excited because I think you saw in the Pursoon fight against Taylor, you know, that was that pressure come forward style. And Katie was having some issues with it, so I think that's what Amanda's going to bring. And in the later rounds, it's going to be a war, and she's going to put in those infamous body punches, and that's what Pursoon needed to do, but was headhunting. And so, from a boxing technical standpoint, Amanda brings what Katie Taylor's weaknesses are.
Okay, well, we shall see. April 30th is the mega fight, Taylor against Serrano, Madison Square Garden. Jake Paul, Amanda Serrano, thank you. We look forward to a great fight.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's it for today. The press event is winding down. Great day, huge turnout ahead of this massive fight, April 30th. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Katie Taylor against Amanda Serrano for the undisputed lightweight world champion. Shout out to Jake, Amanda, and of course Katie Taylor, trailblazer of the sport. And you can also listen to Katie Taylor from Series 1 of No Passion, No Point, another great episode, and we'll see you soon.